The Commission on Population and Development is ramping up their project promoting family planning in the Philippines. Let's get to know more about this on Health Matters. So we're joined today by Mylin Quiray, Information and Management and Communications Division Chief for CPD. Beautiful day, Mylin. We'll call you Miss Mai.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Masayang pamilya, that is our tagline.
Masayang pamilya.
I love that.
Masayang pamilya, masayang umaga, beautiful day.
Oo.
'Di ba? Pero medyo serious yung topic na pag-uusapan natin. We were talking off air and you mentioned that teen pregnancy among 15 to 19-year-olds bumaba siya, but there has been a surge with girls aged 10 to 14,
Yes.
right? So what are the causes of this increasing case of teenage or adolescent pregnancy here in the Philippines?
All right. So when a girl gets pregnant, we say that there are a lot of factors. Una, personal. No, mataas ang pornographic exposure of our young people today, according to the Young Adult Fertility and Sexuality Study. No, so double-digit percentage yung exposure sa pornography. At the same time, next to none, social media is their secondary source of information. So very alarming na we leave our young people to social media. It can be our kakampi or kaaway depending on the source of information and the kind of information that they have. And then only 12% of Filipino parents communicate about sex with their children. So ang sa amin, no, in CPD or the former POPCOM or Commission Population, we want sana the parents should be the first sex educator of their children.
Yeah.
But only 12% of Filipino parents communicate about these things with them. At the same time, we need policies and programs, lalo na sa local level. Kailangan our governors, our mayors, our barangay captains allocate funds for this program. Reproductive health education is what Department of Education calls it now.
Okay, so you mentioned 12% of parents, only 12% at least are recorded, communicate with their children when it comes to sexual education. Well, I mean naman natin, at least for a Filipino culture, na parents are not necessarily comfortable and some parents don't even necessarily, some parents don't necessarily even know kung when is it early enough.
Yeah.
But we were talking about some of the numbers a while ago and it feels a more urgent aspect or a more urgent thing to be able to talk to your kids about it. Kasi bumabata na yung mga nabubuntis. Tama po ba?
Actually, from 2019, more than 2,000. Tapos nung 2023, the latest administrative data released by the Philippine Statistics Authority, 3,343 ang nabuntis na 10 to 14.
10 to 14. And the youngest being?
The youngest recorded is an 8-year-old giving birth, live birth.
I am just in shock. 8 years old. How is that even possible?
So-
that is too young.
I mean, like when
Too
we
young.
it's that's not even. I don't think that's up for debate. Na it's too
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
Pero when we talk about yung guidelines of how parents should be, is the first educators, the first ones to actually talk about it and educate the kids. I mentioned nyo nga yung proliferation of pornographic material on social media, social media becoming the primary educator when that shouldn't be it. Ano yung advice nyo sa mga parents na have to at least start the conversation going?
We say sex education can start as early as teaching our young kids about good touch, bad touch, protection.
Right.
No, knowing na you need to protect yourself if there is a danger lurking. So, yung good touch, bad touch, run, tell someone, you're a responsible adult around you. Yun yung core message. And at the same time, calling our body parts as they are, not flower, not bird. Kasi there is an anecdote that may nagsabing young kid, sabi, my uncle ate my cookie because they call the vagina cookie.
Oh.
And then the parents thought it was just really a cookie.
Oh.
Literal cookie, no? So it could start as that, no?
Okay.
Teachable moments communicating about sex can start with teachable moments. When we see couples kissing, what do? We do like
We
this.
cover their eyes.
We cover their
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it could be a teachable moment. for them.
You know, alam mo, hanggang ngayon, I cover my eyes eh.
Really?
No, but, I mean, like, yeah, it's true.
Serious, Paolo. Pero you know what, that is true, no? Ano nga talaga, we try to shield them from these
No, yeah.
things.
I mean,
Kasi
like-
we feel that they're too young, but
Oo.
ang approach pala dapat as early as, I don't know, as they are exposed to all these things, kailangan medyo ituro mo na.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, we joke about, well, I joked about it a while ago because at the end of the day, it's true.
Yeah.
There is a lot of, siguro, overshielding
Yeah.
for some, even at a later age. And when we talk about I think when we talk about the effects of early pregnancy, not only in the family, but the development of the child.
Yes.
We call them children because
They are children.
Children
adolescent
having
talaga eh.
children.
Oo,
Yeah.
children. Like how do we have any studies or any insights to how it actually affects yung development nila as people? Because being a parent at 12 seems insane to me.
Aside from the physical health risks, of course, there's emotional and mental risks
Yeah.
involved. And there is a need also for family healing. There is a program with the Department of Social Welfare and Development with us, the CPD, regarding protecting or preventing repeat pregnancy. Because when a young girl gets pregnant, the tendency is she gets pregnant again. So we need to also protect these young people who got pregnant early. Because when you see the data, if you break it down, there is even like someone before the age of 19 had 4 children. So, and if you look at the single year age, there is like a minor who impregnated her is a senior citizen. The one who impregnated her is a senior citizen. So it's really shocking when you see the data.
Right. And you know, this is really happening. I remember we had a conversation with Direk Antoinette Hadaon, the one who directed
Sunshine. And
right?
directed.
And she said she was able to gather stories from victims,
Yeah.
very, very young women, children nga actually, di ba? Kasi minors, and it's really happening.
It
Yeah.
is.
And you know, we're saying now, you mentioned kanina na you have to speak up. If something like this happens to you, you have to speak up. But sometimes there's this fear. Kasi minsan, it's within the family.
Yeah.
Diba?
I mean, like, when we talk about that, obviously within the family, the big age gaps are always issues. Yung na-mention niyo po, yung tito ng
Oo.
isa
Parang who do they run to
Yeah,
now?
who do
if
they
it
run
happens
to?
within the family.
I mean, like, ano yung advice niyo po dun when something happens within the family that syempre, they want to keep under wraps but then
Oo,
still
eh.
have to address.
Yeah.
That's why our core message is tell a responsible adult around you. If it's your parents or family member around you, responsible adult around you, maybe your teacher, your guidance counselor, if there is one in public schools, because that is a different issue altogether
Yeah.
for the education sector in the public health system. So tell the responsible adult around you. So we also have like the peer health navigators that is from the Department of Education. They train student leaders so that they can navigate or refer these young people to responsible adults around them.
So how does the CPD address yung cases of teenage adolescent pregnancy in the country? Let's also talk about your reproductive health programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a campaign. We have a malayaako.ph, a website that young people can go to and even parents can go to. Age appropriate. You have to choose good videos that you think is possible for your young people because there are cartoons and simple explanations there. What is consent? What is sex?
Yeah.
How do we talk about it? So we have a campaign for that. And also, we are pushing for the policy on the passage of the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Bill here in the 20th Congress. That's why your role as media is very important also in helping us with this advocacy.
What would that bill particularly entail? Of course, what are you pushing for in particular na talagang i-legislate natin?
So there should be a council for adolescent pregnancy prevention so that the issue can really be focused on and shine the spotlight on, and also that the local government units allocate budget, ensure that adolescent friendly health facilities are there in the provinces, in the cities, in the municipalities. And at the same time, local government units should have policy so that it will be sustainable, this program on reproductive health education and services for young people.
You know, I feel like they should also put yung mga online information drive, no?
Kaya malaya ako.ph.
Yes, malaya.
diba?
Thank you.
Yeah. Parang ano kasi syempre the young ones are always on their phones, 'di ba? Kaya doon sila natututo ng sex education doon sa mga TikTok
Yeah.
So parang dapat nandun din yung presence, no, ng CPD. So 5 years from now, what progress would you like to see when it comes to, you know, halting these early pregnancies?
We want to at least have the adolescent pregnancy data that we have. At least half. Reduce it by half. Because the 15 to 19, it's really lowering. But the 10 to 14 is really our problem.
Yeah. So it's so interesting that yung 10 to 14 pa nagiging problema. I mean,
Yes.
when we talk about, kasi minsan may hirap sabihin na, is it safe to consider them, well, siguro victims in a way, because at 10 to 14,
Yes.
if one, it's definitely not within the age of consent.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
16 is the age of sexual consent.
Right.
Yes.
So if it's, and also there's a Romeo and Juliet clause there that the one who impregnates you should be at least 3 years gap. But you know what we found out is majority of those 10 to 14, the one who impregnates them are older than them, men older than them, way older. So there's really something to be looked into that because there's also a gender issue there.
Right.
Yes.
And the scary thing is that these are just the reported numbers. We don't have those that are unreported,
Yeah.
and those who actually put themselves to unfortunate mga abortion, ways to get abortions done in a not safe way.
Yeah,
So
like sunshine.
yeah, sunshine. Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at no spoilers. When we take a look at how to keep the space for those 10 to 14, or at least in the case you mentioned a while ago, 8 to 14 range, safer. If you're a parent trying to build that community around them, how does that look like?
We really want that these young people, first of all, they know the correct body parts name so that they can be protected. They know where to go. They know how to protect themselves, which is run and tell a responsible adult around you. And we want parents really to talk about sex with their children. The primary sex educator should be the parents. That is how we envision this platform that we have.
Yeah, what do you say to the argument that at least, I don't know, Anne, if you'll agree with me here, so correct me if I'm wrong, pero there are some parents or older people who would shield them because they feel that that's a way to prevent them from sex in general, or at least keep them from being exposed to sex. But are we in a place right now that it will get to the younger generation simply because of social media,
Yes.
the presence of media in general, the fact that everything's so accessible, and that content moderation is so difficult, even if you have yung mga child-safe options sa YouTube, TikTok, or wherever?
It's good that there is a move for this Congress to have like censorship for this. Because we don't have censorship for pornographic sites here in the Philippines, it might help us. And also, parents should really monitor their children. That's what we say. Monitor the sites that they go to. But the thing is, our young people right now, they sleep madaling araw na.
That's so true.
So even the parents
Yeah.
cannot monitor where they go, what
Yeah.
site they go to. That's why we really have also a program for parents.
Okay.
Teaching them about communicating with their children. But of course, when you go to sexuality communication, your communication should be okay first. Because you cannot go to the birds and the bees, when your communication, everyday communication is not okay.
Okay.
And it's really common right now that when we see people with their children, what do we see? They're on their phones.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
are.
talk. So that's a really tragic situation right now.
You know, it's easier said than done.
Super.
Kasi
Wala pa akong anak kaya I can't really say much. Oh.
but really, it's difficult to monitor Diba? Kasi merong mga child, di ba may parang child,
Child safe, child
option.
blockers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
child blockers, ganyan. But there's still a way to go around that. And nakaka-access pa rin sila ng mga sites na hindi pwede talaga sa mga kids. As much as you try to, like really keep an eye on what they search for on social media, minsan ang hirap diba?
Yeah.
Lalo na, like you've mentioned, madaling araw na sila natutulog, so hindi mo sila nababantayan. Plus, I feel that this is such a conservative country. Ang hirap i-open up yung topic ng sex with kids, especially the young ones, diba? How about in schools? Do you feel that we are doing enough, like in terms of sex education, having guidance counselors also to talk to these kids? What else can schools do?
There is a study that teachers are not prepared to talk about it. To talk about sex with their students. But there is also a move with the Department of Education on reproductive health education, integrating sex education in their curriculum. But the thing is, we also need to strengthen that.
Yeah.
Because it's really up to the comfortability of the teachers on how to discuss it.
Kasi kung parents nga nahihirapan
Yes.
Teachers pa kaya, diba?
Yes, but there is a policy on reproductive health education. I think it's coming out by the
Okay.
Department of Education.
Yeah.
And government agencies are coming together. There is an Executive Order 141 technical working group. So it is adolescent pregnancy as an urgent national priority. So government agencies are coming together to do this, not in silos, to implement a program together,
Yeah.
complement our strategies together,
Yeah.
so that we can finally lower the
Yeah.
adolescent pregnancy cases for the 10 to 14. I think we've been successful for 15 to 19.
Yeah.
Because we've been here for 56 years, so I think it's been successful, but the 10 to 14 is another issue altogether. And I
Okay.
think there's an issue also of coercion and abuse.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Involved here.
I wanna, syempre, because if the goal is to get the 10 to 14 or a bit younger age group, the pregnancies down there. I want to talk about kung ano yung ginawa nyo for the teenage pregnancies that was actually successful, that gives you hope that pwede natin tong i-replicate sa adolescents.
I think the government agencies kasi came together for this, for the 15 to 19. I think that would be the focus then. No, marami kaming communication platforms na nangyari. Meron kaming parenting talk. And then also, madaming sessions on adolescent pregnancy, adolescent sexual and reproductive health. So I think that was successful. And with the local government units also, it has been sustainable. But the 10 to 14 is another issue altogether. So right now, yun yung tinatry natin i-focus. Kasi there's an ethical issue involved there also.
Right.
Kasi you cannot study the 10 to 14 because they're too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And even the young adult fertility and sexuality study do not study them because of the ethical issues involved in research.
But I think we really have to do something about it. No, I feel like they don't understand what's happening to them.
Well, kasi not
But-
only that, kasi kung 8 years old ka, you're grade 2, second grade.
Oo.
I mean, like, how do you, again, I'm using the 8-year-old as probably the worst case example, right? Which unfortunately recorded nga siya. That's a second grade.
Mabuti isa
third
lang
grade.
siya.
Oo.
But you know,
Na alam natin.
Na alam natin,
Right?
right?
Like
That was
that's-
reported.
I mean, that's obviously terrible. But then when we take a
It
look at
is.
how we can educate or at least protect them, I mentioned yung communities a while ago. Communities and then the parents and then the families in general. When we talk about the parents themselves and how to address it, ano yung mensahe mo sa kanila to hopefully increase that percentage of only 12% of Filipino parents are open to talking about sex education at a younger age? What could you say to encourage them to actually do so?
So for the parents, spot teachable moments talaga.
Okay.
Yun talaga spot teachable moments and communicate with your children.
Yeah.
Everyday communication is very important so that you can go to sexuality communication. So yun lang talaga.
If you could send out a message, to Filipino teens, children who are watching us right now or listening through the radio, we're
Mga
simulcast
teenagers
on.
looking at this on TikTok right now.
Or the replay on TikTok or listening to us through Mellow 94.7 BFM. What vital advice can you share to them in a way that's, hopeful and relatable.
So our core message for young people is malaya akong maging. Because there's a study na young people are not dreaming anymore. No, Mayusek always says that young people are not dreaming anymore according to research. So young people, malaya akong maging. I choose. That is our core message in government. You are free to choose who you want to be, but you need to really make the right decisions, informed choices, a reproductive agency, which is really having the decisions, educate yourselves.
Yeah.
Talaga. So, kami kasi ABC pa rin talaga sa government, no? Abstinence is still key, be faithful and use condom consistently, no? And kailangan lang talaga educate yourselves, no? Malaya akong maging, you are free to choose who you want to be.
Right.
Sorry, I really enjoyed the fact that yung B is be faithful in the in this ABC kasi syempre the number of partners also.
Yes, because of
is an
HIV
issue.
also, the incidence of HIV is
Yeah.
also alarming.
Oh, my
And these
goodness.
are men having sex with men. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the new cases are getting younger, and these are men having sex with men, mostly.
When she mentioned use condom, ang hirap naman ituro niyan sa 10-year-old. Hindi pa nga dapat
Age
nila.
appropriate po
Let's-
tayo
let's
kasi
hope-
bawal.
Let's hope naman that we don't have to teach them how to do that, diba? I mean, like,
diba?
my
Parang,
goodness.
It's getting younger. But, we're wrapping up. But before we let you go, we always ask this last question to our guests. The show is called Beautiful Day. What makes your day beautiful, Miss Mai?
Okay, so what makes my day beautiful is I love what I do. I thank God for it. So it's really a blessing to be where I am right now and to be who I want to be right now.
Kala ko sasabihin ni Miss Mai kapag may hindi na buntis.
That would be really
Pero
a
that is
beautiful
also
day.
my advocacy,
Ayun.
personal advocacy. That's why I am here also.
That's
Right.
perfect. Miss Mai, thank you so much.
Thank
It's so
you.
beautiful
Sayang
having you here today.
pamilya.
Thank you so much, Management and Communications Division Chief for CPD, Mylin Quiray. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.